Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. The best way is if you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know? I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. We're talking balls.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. Today is Monday, October 17th. We come to you Monday through Friday every morning, dropping some great news. And today is going to be no exception. Ben will be back soon, but just came back from the Rare Bloom event. It was a Cardano conference in Denver. First time I've ever been to Denver. First time I've ever been to Colorado at the Gaylord. It was a good event. I will say this, TJ, no event has ever matched its percentage of smart people. Everyone I talked to was really bringing something to the table.
Interesting.
Nothing against those other conferences, but especially like a Bitcoin one. You know, you go to some of these conferences and there's a lot of people just a little bit newer to the space. But I will say this, even the people newer to the space at Rare Bloom really knew what they were doing. There's a lot of devs there, a lot of people in the background, a lot of project leaders, DeFi, NFTs, marketplaces, all types of stuff was out there at Rare Bloom. Never felt more bullish on Cardano. And kind of reminds me of Ben's tweet. Now, Ben is making a prediction. Cardano's going to pass Ethereum. But then in the comments, they brought up a good point. Well, he also said Ethereum is eventually going to pass Bitcoin. So transitive properties there. Is Cardano going to pass Bitcoin? What do you say?
I mean, I assume you're talking market cap, correct?
Yes.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because when you say like, yeah, you know, I think ETH will surpass Bitcoin. Okay, you know, but then he said, I think ADA will surpass ETH. Well, now, you know, you start doing some math there. It starts to sound a little bit of a loftier target.
yeah, that's a lot to say. I mean, I'm curious to hear what change. Obviously, there was something that came. I know he interviewed Charles. I imagine something came out of that interview that got him very bullish on Cardano and ADA. I like both projects. Obviously, big fan of Ethereum and a big fan of Cardano. Always been a big fan of Cardano. Not surprised that it attracts a lot of the more intelligent people just by the way it's designed. You know, kind of the academic approach to the way they do things with the peer review process. But I don't know, both of them
That's
being
tough,
bigger
right?
than Bitcoin. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it just depends on what the timeline is. If you're scaling out 50, 100 years and you're saying all transactions are happening on smart contract platforms and then just only store of value is on Bitcoin, you could make that case. But I think it's going to take a long time for Ethereum to be ahead of Bitcoin and Cardano to be ahead of Ethereum, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I believe, you know, Ethereum, when you count the whole ecosystem, when you count the stable coins in on EVM, it is pretty close. It's probably pretty close to parity. I mean, you just look at the top three stable coins and then plus Ethereum, and you get to a decent percentage of Bitcoin's market cap. So I can see something similar happening. Some people are saying, you know, ADA just not a you know, shiny and flashy enough to beat ETH, and there's definitely going to be a lot of that. And the VCs aren't in it, so will they pump it like they pump some of the other coins? They won't. But let's get into the news here. All right, first, NFT Alpha. If you're not following that channel, make sure you go follow that channel. Follow all the channels in the Hit Network ecosystem. Hit Network Gaming, Frankie Candles, and of course the main channel you're watching right now. We go to the Twitter, just past 37,000. So thank you very much, all the people at Rare Bloom being super supportive. Space Buds getting swept. Just a little bit of a news right there. But here's my tweet from yesterday, kind of echoing Ben's sentiments. Never felt better about Cardano. CNFT Con full of teams growing together and NFT collectors undeterred by the bear market. Rare Bloom packed with intelligent, innovative builders looking to the future. Counterintuitively, when the coin is low, the future is brightest. And I just want to share that intimate. When the coin's low, it looks dark. You know, you just see storm clouds all around you. You feel like you're Mark Wahlberg in the movie with George Clooney. Perfect storms brewing, and we're about to capsize. But that's psychologically when you're most fearful is when you should be most greedy. I know it's hard to go against your actual narrative in your brain saying, sell, 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 idiot. That's when you need to be buying. And when everyone's saying, oh my God, the pumps, they just keep coming, more pumps, the pumpamentals won't stop. That's when you sell. And no one wants to sell then. So don't listen to yourself is what I'm saying. But listen to us. No, we're kidding. But, you know, sometimes listen to everything, formulate your own opinions, and that's going to be the recipe for success. You got to take in all the information out there. Get out of echo chambers if you're in an echo chamber. All right. We go to Instagram here, almost at 5,000. Like to get past 5,000 soon. So if you see me on Instagram, give me a follow, DZ_BTC. Hit network. We got some awesome merch. Speaking of merch, JPEG Junkies merch. We got a meeting with the devs. Here's just a little thing. Probably month and a half on the website. So that's dev talk. Could be 2 months. All right. Let's you know how devs work. Heard about Pulse. People upset about Pulse.
Oh yeah,
I have, I said in the morning, I was talking to the team here. I said, I don't know if I want to say this, but I think, and this is a good thing, and Richard's a smart guy, I think he wants to launch what he thinks is going to be the depths of the bear market to make everyone happy. What do you think?
You don't want to know what I think.
All right. Let's just say if it was done, there's an advantage to waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
That's when you get those good tweets where it's like, Bitcoin did this, but we did this.
Mhm.
All right, let's look at coin market cap here. Speaking of Bitcoin, we have the dominance at 40.1% and ETH still falling down. I remember ETH was half of Bitcoin. ETH down to 17.3. Gas is 22 Gwei right now. If we look at the entire market cap, we are below a billion at 929 billion, or below a trillion at 929 billion here. Bitcoin down, on the hourly, but up on the 24-hour, 2 points. And then we have Ethereum up 3 1/3 here. So looking pretty good. We have BNB up. XRP looks like it's some of the other coins' time to shine. Down on the week, 8%. So that's surprising to see after it's just been on a tear since the 30s there. Cardano, it's the opposite story. It is down. It had such strong support at 43 cents and now down to 37, down 10% on the week. Doing worse than Solana here. Let's see, trying to move it. All right, Solana down 5% on the week, but 3% on the day. Doge up, Polygon up. Let's go to the top gainers and losers. I do want to go to Chainlink. I've been looking at oracles. There's some oracles on Cardano. Maybe if you follow NFT Alpha, maybe we'll give you some DeFi Alpha too. All right, we go to the 24. Quant crushing it right now, up 40%
on the week. Jeez.
Woo, 40%. Yeah, if you got in early on the week, yeah, you were looking pretty good. Every dollar is now $1.40. We have Casper. It's a friendly ghost and a friendly coin. If you invested in it 7 days ago, you were up also almost 40%. Synthetics making a comeback there. Synthetics, that was a big narrative of the last bull run. Let's say early bull run, pre first Bitcoin peak there. A lot of people said, synthetic gold, synthetic silver, synthetic stocks, synthetic Bitcoin. I want to do all these things. We just never really saw it take off. Do you think it could take off for the next bear market or bull market?
I think it could. The catch there is obviously this is designed to be decentralized and synthetic versions, like you said, of gold, stocks, other assets. So whether the regulators move forward with it or not, I think that's going to be the big determining factor. Like if it gets regulatory clarity and approval, I think it's a slam dunk home run. But if not, we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah. All right. We continue. Look at the top losers. Really nothing too egregious here. We have waves. ENS down, but ENS had a tremendous week, up 15%. That market cap so high though. I had my ENS token. I dumped it the first day. I think this was around Christmas. It was a fantastic move. When you look at the chart, 400 million. I just kind of want to look at the chart. I'm interested because strong team, great tech, doing awesome things. But yeah, this is just kind of the story of the bull market. Yeah, it dropped. I didn't drop like that early. I remember getting out around. Oh wow, yeah, I probably held on too long. Yeah, I got out. Yeah, I remember getting out a bunch around Christmas. Okay, I remember that little short relief rally. Didn't catch the top. Got out before it went pew though, so that was pretty good. But when you've looked at enough macro charts, a lot of the charts are kind of looking like this, and this is where the opportunities arise. So you may feel fearful. Maybe it's going to have another little leg down, but we are no longer like buying at these levels. I am comfortable in buying in these levels right here. But speaking of buying at certain levels, I think we have the Candle Mafia. They're waiting. They're waiting for the Mafia Don himself coming back from the weekend. First, let's have a little back and forth here. I think we should do like 15 seconds. How was the weekend?
It was fun.
Well, you guys both have to talk into the microphone.
Yeah. You had a good time?
It was great. How was your weekend?
It was good. It's a little intimate when we have to share mics. So now I'm feeling more and more uncomfortable as the seconds pass. So I'm just going to pass it and go sit in the corner now.
Good.
Thank you, DZ. What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a good Monday. As we do have some very, very interesting stuff to look at on the charts. And guys, don't forget, obviously, we do have some altcoins up pretty big. If you want to see Bitcoin and some of these altcoins continue to the upside, don't forget to smash that like button.
That's right.
But yeah, guys, super, super interesting stuff here to look at the charts. I'm going to kind of give you guys an idea of the levels that I am looking at and some of the things on the higher time frames. Now, you guys will know we've been covering those I've been covering those higher daily time frames, kind of showing you that there are some bullish things popping up on these higher time frames that do look like we could push the momentum to the upside. Time frames like the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day actually looking very, very bullish right now. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I'm going to kind of give you guys the levels I'm watching and the levels that if we lose those levels, kind of where I'm going to flip bearish. But as of right now, we do have some good things popping up again on those higher time frames. So I do, let me just give this a quick little, let me just make sure. Yeah, let me give a quick refresh here. Make sure we have all of the current levels. But yeah, we do have a bunch of good stuff, guys, popping up on those higher time frames, like I said. Now, let's go ahead. I want to start off on the weekly. I'm going to turn off our TA here real quick to clean things up. Now, obviously, like I said, on the weekly, we have been talking about these momentum waves for quite some time with this low and this higher low like this. This typically just shows that momentum is coming to the upside, right? So when you see this forming on something like the weekly or the 5-day or the 6-day or the 3-day, these higher time frames could indicate that we are going to eventually get momentum to flip to the upside. Obviously, we have been getting absolutely decimated for almost a year here, just continuing straight down. So hopefully we could potentially get a little bit of relief here, even if we are going to get lower lows. Hopefully we can get a little bit of relief here before rolling back down to
I have
those
a
lower
quick
lows.
question before you change that chart. I see that money flow is looking terrible. Do you watch
Yes.
for any reversal on the 4-day, the 5-day, something a little less than a week?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people ask me this question on my channel, kind of like, I talk about it a lot where if you see things pop up on if you're looking at the weekly, right, and you're hoping that the money flow is coming up on the weekly, a lot of times if you go down to the 3-day, the 2-day, the 4-day, the lower time frames that are kind of right beside the weekly, you could kind of see if that money flow on those lower time frames starts to come up, you could see that start to bleed into those higher time frames. So that was a good question. Yeah, absolutely. And so just generally here, guys, momentum still coming to the upside. We did not print a red dot. Obviously, we had our VWAP. I don't know if you guys could see that. VWAP came down towards that 0 line, looked like we were going to just flop right over, but it is coming back up, which is a decent sign here. And then moving on down to these lower time frames, you could see this 5-day is starting to come back up with the money flow, but you are printing a red dot. And then, yeah, 6-day kind of looking ugly like the weekly. But again, with the green dot, the money flow can come up, but I'm not looking for an absolute moonshot here, just some relief. But that 5-day printing that red dot is a little bit more of a bearish sign. But again, still looking pretty good on these higher daily time frames, guys. With the money flow, the momentum waves coming up, your money flow is actually starting to tick up here on your 4-day, and you have your price making lower lows, right? So we have our price making lower lows, momentum making higher highs. This is typically a recipe for a bounce, guys, especially on a high time frame like this. I always caution people, we're in a bear market, so in the bull market, we had bear divs all the way up, right? And they would play out very, very small, right? Like they wouldn't have these big moves to the downside because it's a bull market. You want to understand the market that you're trading in. Right now, it's a bear market, so you want to remember that. However, maybe these bull divs don't play out in an absolutely massive way. However, you cannot ignore them, especially when it's just lined up through these higher daily time frames. So again, weekly, higher daily time frames. Other than that 5-day red dot, the 4-day is looking good. We are printing a green dot there. Green dot as well, printing on the 3-day, pretty good. Money flow kind of coming up there, kind of just flat. And then this is what I was talking about. Your 2-day actually looking very, very good on Market Cipher B. You can see not only did we get a money flow crossover into the green, but we did also get that VWAP crossover at the same time. And on top of that, you have that same setup with your lower lows on your price, with your higher lows on your momentum, giving you that bullish divergence, which again could make for a pretty good move to the upside. So that 2-day is looking pretty good. Moving on to your daily, also printing a green dot. And then same setup here, guys. Lower lows on your price and momentum is coming up. When you have the price coming down and the momentum coming up, obviously going to give you that bullish setup and that green dot printing as of right now. So the daily is looking pretty good as well. So like I've been saying this last week, I was saying going into the weekend, obviously we have that yellow X that I believe is still printing on the 5-day. So that is a very rare bearish sign. However, with all these multiple higher daily time frames. I was saying last week that going into the weekend I am leaning a bit bullish just because of the way the higher time frames look, and then we kind of just sat flat, and then we got a little bit of movement over the weekend, but again, leaning a little bit bullish. But you guys know we have to cover either direction because we are set up to long or short the market and make money in either direction. So although I am leaning bullish, I will show you some of the levels that I'm watching to potentially flip bearish. So I'll kind of just show you the line in the sand here. So some of the levels I am looking at here, let me come up to, let's say, the 30-minute, just zoom out a little bit. So they remain generally the same. Again, that super, super, super important level is going to be our value area low at 18,825. And as you guys know, as we've been talking about, since we've been in this sideways range, this has been the level I've been watching forever. The real thing that we need to have here if we're going to get these lower lows is a loss of this level, a bearish retest, and an absolute dump. So it's not until we lose this level I start worrying. And then, so this is basically the line in the sand. Again, that we've been looking at this forever. It's the value area low at 18,825. And every time we come below it, we just bounce right back in, bounce right back in, bounce right back in, even if we temporarily lose it. And then we temporarily lost it again right here. So that remains the key level that I am looking at to remain bullish. As long as we stay above the value area low at 18,825, I do think we could get a continued move to the upside. And then as soon as we lose that level, right, if we lose this local golden pocket slash another value area low here, that's where we come down to this key level. We lose this bearish retest. That is where I am starting to feel that we may actually start turning around, and I will start looking at lower targets. But until that happens, I do think we could potentially, as long as we hold it above this gold box and that value area low, we could continue higher. And, some levels to the upside if we do get a big move here in the short term. First area of resistance I will be looking at is this spider line coming in at about 19,950. And, once we come up to this level, you can look for your bearish confirmations for some potential scalp shorts on the way up. But the real level I would be looking to come up to, as you guys know, once you are above that value area low and holding as support, you are expecting to eventually make your way up to that point of control, which is coming in at about 20,525. So that spider line at about 19,950 and that POC at about 20,525 are going to remain the targets to the upside. And again, with the way those higher time frames are looking, I am leaning a little bit bullish. And then until we lose that value area low at about 18,825, I'm not looking for lower targets until we break that level. And then before I hop off, I do just want to show you guys real quick, not going to spend a lot of time on this. We have found a little bit of support on the SPY, getting another bounce up there. Money flow looking good on that 30-minute. Money flow also coming up on your 4-hour. And then coming over to the weekly, because you guys will know we've been watching that bullish divergence on the weekly. We've been talking about how the bullish divergence looks very bullish, but that money flow looks pretty ugly. But nonetheless, our VWAP is continuing to move closer up towards that zero line. So that is a decent sign. And then your DXY, you guys will know that we've been watching that local golden pocket right here for some resistance. Obviously, we kind of just played around with this forever. And now it is looking like we are now starting to, lose this level and reject from this golden pocket. Next levels I will be looking at for on the DXY is going to be, other than this fib level right here at about 111.86, I will be looking at the top of this gold box at about a 111.21 to see if we can get some support on the DXY at that point. But just wanted to point that out. We've been looking at that local golden pocket for a while, and it's not always clean, right? It's not just always you come up and perfectly reject. A lot of times you'll come up kind of, bing bong around constantly, and then finally you get that decisive rejection. But just wanted to point that out before I hopped off here. But again, guys, higher time frames do look like we could get a continued move to the upside, and then 18,825 is that key level I'm watching. If we lose that, that's where I start getting flipping bearish and looking for those lower targets.
Awesome. I was just going to ask you real quick. We had a question from the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What is money flow and what does it tell? If you could just give them that real quick.
So, yeah, the easiest way to think about money flow is just money flow is basically representing money entering or exiting the asset. So a lot of people get the money flow mixed up with the VWAP. The VWAP is basically, when I see the VWAP, which is the yellow wave on Market Cypher B, cross over the zero line, right? This isn't where I'm getting really bearish. That represents just the ebbs and the flows of the market, right? If you're in a big downtrend, you're still going to get bounces to the upside. So I watch the VWAP for those little moves. And then when you have the money flow coming out, it's more of a longer term bearish outlook, depending on the time frame you're looking at. So yeah, money flow is more it more identifies the direction of price rather than just the short little pumps and moves within the trend, if that makes sense. But it basically represents money coming in and out of the asset.
Always bullish on Frankie Candles. And if you guys don't subscribe, I've got it pinned in the chat. He is right about to break 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if we can help push him over the edge that week, I know he'd appreciate it. It's a great channel. You'll learn a lot about how to trade Bitcoin, especially in these choppy markets. So as always, bullish on Frankie Candles. Thanks for coming on, Frank.
Absolutely. That's all I got. Back to DZ. Bing bong. 5:45. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Yeah, that 2-day looks so good. And then you look at the 5-day, you look at the 7-day, and you're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm not as bullish as I should be. But that 2-day makes me want to open some longs. I'm not gonna lie. It's yeah, money flows in the risk. Yeah, it's all in the risk. How you get the risk going there. All right, let's get into the stories here today.
Well, I think we got some Twitter buzz.
Oh,
can't forget that.
Let's see it.
All right.
Twitter buzz.
All right.
Twitter buzz.
First one for the day. Just in, Ripple begins testing Ethereum smart contract compatibility with its XRP Ledger sidechain, with the XRP-L. All right, so that's just them saying Ethereum's going to be everywhere. You can't ignore Ethereum. Makes me bullish on Ethereum in a weird way. Makes me bullish on Ripple, knowing that they don't have this the maxi view that maybe some holders might.
Yeah, and it shows. I think the next big trend is going to be interoperability. We need these chains to start talking to each other, and then when they do, I think we're going to really see.
Yeah, I mean, Visa and Mastercard can talk. Why not a Bitcoin and an Ethereum?
Exactly.
Somebody should tell Kanye that running a social media platform ain't easy.
Oh,
that of course is referencing him saying he's going to buy Candace Owens' husband's. He's the CEO of Parler, right? It's Parler.
Parler, yep.
Yeah, so maybe he's going to come in and you know what the rich people do? Because Kanye is very, very wealthy. At one point, he was the richest Black American in history. I don't know if he still is. I think it fluctuates with, or maybe male. I don't know if he surpassed Oprah there. But what do the rich people do, TJ? They buy media corporations. Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post. You have, you got to get your messaging out there, and you'll see it a lot. Elon with Twitter. That's another example. And so this just could be this Kanye's version of that. You start getting bullied around by the JP Morgans and the big players, and you say, I've had enough, and it's time for me to take the microphone back. So this is him just having a whole Taylor Swift moment, but it's on a grand scale this time.
There you go.
All right. 80% of crypto retail transactions globally of less than 1,000 are happening on the African continent. Wow. Whoa. Let's just say that one more time. 80% of retail transactions. Okay, I think that's the rub there. The retail transactions of less than 1,000 are happening on the African continent. That is huge.
That is huge.
A lot of people sleep on how large Nigeria is as an economy. It's actually very, very big. I want to say it hangs out in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of money flowing around, and they have a need for crypto more so than any continent on Earth, I would argue, except for all those people in Antarctica. They need it for sure. All right, we ready to talk a little Bitcoin here, and just kind of to Frankie's point, the VWAPs, the money flows, they're getting ready for some volatility here, and here are 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. So it's a new week, keeping everyone guessing, especially those traders. And having come down significantly in volatile conditions over the first half of the year, recent months have seen an almost eerie lack of volatility, kind of reminding me of that June range of last year. Historically speaking, when the BVOL falls below a value of 25, a large spike in volatility tends to follow shortly thereafter. Here you can see big moves brewing for Bitcoin here. I'm wondering if this is little volatility. The volatility is the red line, and then the yellow line is going to be Bitcoin's price. 21,000 should feature as a part of a relief bounce, only to be eclipsed by they're saying a fresh dive to multi-year lows. These potentially coming out in the 14,000 to 16,000 range. This is, you saw that little dip we were looking at earlier, fell below the value pocket, then right back above, and then kind of back just hanging out inside. Looks like it wants to make maybe a fresh bounce to the upside. In the U.S., companies' earning will be coming in thick and fast, with tech stocks particularly apt to move markets in the event of results falling wide of expectations. Beyond stocks, the DXY was mercifully motionless into the new week, so far avoiding another tack on 20-year highs seen earlier. If you like Bitcoin, you don't want those new highs. You want it to head down. You saw when it goes down, Bitcoin goes up. It's not a perfect correlation, but they definitely like to hang out in opposite circles here. In a tweet from this weekend, Highland flagged Bitcoin's RSI repeating behavior seen in the buildup to the 2018 floor. And I'm starting to get similar vibes. And when you look at the time frames, if you look at November as an all-time high, we aren't quite matching the time frames of where we should be relative to all-time highs. But I've long made the argument that due to US inflation and due to the dollar losing so much strength, the purchasing power of a Bitcoin's peak was in May or April, I mean. And so that's when you can buy the most lumber, the most cans of soda, the most, I don't know, fill in the blank, Big Macs. I think that's when the value was the highest, even though, let's be clear, the dollar high was in November. I'm not saying, that wasn't the top, but the math is checking out for that April high, where now is those multi-year bottoms, now is those accumulation zones. Are we going to match perfectly to 2017 bull run, to 2012, No, we're not going to match those bull runs perfectly, but we're seeing a lot of similarities, and things tend to happen in cycles. That's all I'm going to say there.
Yeah. Well, another thing that's very interesting to me, obviously, we've been talking about this November date for a while, kind of mid-November being, near bottom or close to a bottom timeline wise when it comes to the cycles. And it's so interesting. The closer we get to it, we're seeing more and more confluence from different angles. We're going to get, I'm pretty sure this BTC shark story is something about what Kevin O'Leary said, which I think I read this article earlier, either yesterday or this morning. More and more narratives coming in line with November or just after the midterms being a likely bottom. So we'll get into that in just a minute. But, the more time that goes by, the closer we get, the more confident I am that, after the midterm elections, we should be able to start the churn back up.
All right, a couple chats here. Why not talk about quant? We like quant.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong against quant.
Yeah,
I don't have a bag, but it's not like that's why I won't talk about it.
Well, and it is in our ISO 222 or whatever it is, 2022 coins. I think we had like 400 something bucks in there, and it's doubled up since we put it in. So it's keeping that portfolio in good shape. So we talk about it every Friday, and we talked about it at the top of the show.
Yeah, make sure you watch those portfolio videos. I love that type of content when I was first getting in the space. All right, Ben said storage coins could be big during the next bull run. What do you think of Filecoin? I am big on Filecoin. I think it's a lot easier to scale something like that versus a Helium. That's due to the physicality of Helium Wi-Fi nodes or whatever they're called. Those you need to have physical structure, whereas Filecoin, you can just kind of have basement dwellers in Kansas that can really help the whole globe. But if you have a bunch of Helium nodes in Kansas, that doesn't help the whole globe. So to me, something like a Filecoin is very easily scalable. I'm not saying I think Filecoin will be the winner in that space, but I think that will be a big space here. All right, let's continue talking about Bitcoin here. The futures market remains heated as leverage is staying high. And following the rise, let me shrink it a little bit, of derivative activities, the leverage in the market hit a new all-time high recently, as noted by in a crypto quant post here. Hey, we're talking about quant. Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There's our quota. We're over quota. Now we can't talk about quant the coin again. I just hope you're okay. It's because of you. I brought it up in the chat. Now we can't talk about it for 10 days.
Yeah, we've said it so many times.
I'm sorry. Since then, the indicator's value has come down a bit. The decrease was instigated by the recent temporary rush of volatility in the market due to the CPI release, which flushed out a large amount of leverage. What is one thing all the expert traders say to us, TJ, when we talk about, hey, do you trade the FOMO or the FOMC minutes? Do you trade CPI numbers? They all stay away.
Yeah, they all say no.
Every expert I know says, "Nah, I stay away. I leave that for the other people." That is a coin flip. I think that gets a lot closer to when you use strong TA. You can say, 80% of the time this is going to break upwards, and then it's correlating with this, where 60% of the time it breaks upward. Now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just going to say 70% chance that it's going to go up. I do a trade. I feel like those minutes and all that's a lot more close to a coin flip. So you might have a higher return, but you're also going to have a higher loss if you do get it wrong versus, tighter stop losses. And those stop losses, those scam wicks, they'll scam wick you out, and then it'll go in the direction you thought it was. But guess what? You had a tight stop loss and you got stopped out because of the crazy volatile 1 minute wicks or the 5 minute candles. So just be very careful. Look, they're hunting for you. Okay. Yeah. They want you to get stopped out, or, I'm going to make sure I only lose, 5-10%. And you'll see that wick, it'll hit ding, it'll hit your thing exactly, and it'll just go take off like a rocket. So just be real careful. The experts stay away. So, I think it was Yoda said, you can any fool can no, it wasn't Yoda. It's any fool can learn from their own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
There you go.
So I try to learn from other people's mistakes. Bitcoin just saw a rare occurrence on its blockchain. Here it is. Right. Bitcoin saw its slowest block time in over a year since the China crypto ban. As reported by Wu, the block time at this height reached a rare 85
Holy
minutes, which is
cow.
well above the 10-minute estimated time. Woo! This was close to the high seen in 21. Due to the ban on Bitcoin mining in China, the block time of 100 minutes was reached during that mass exodus of miners. This is why it's hard for us to predict the halving. You say, well, why don't you know? It's just all block size, because some blocks might be 10 minutes and some blocks might be closer to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so that's why we can't exactly predict when the halving is going to be. And that's why a lot of things are saying in a kind of a 2-month frame or a season frame or like a Q3 frame. You can't exactly predict some of those numbers there.
Yeah.
That's a long, long block there, though.
Does it get into what happened or why?
Well, let's see here. The interval between the two recent blocks mined by Foundry USA and Luxor was 85 minutes, not the casino chain. The reason remains unknown. And so maybe I'm sure the blockchain detectives, they're going to hit this. They're going to figure it out. And maybe we'll have a little more report tomorrow, because that is quite the aberration to hit that China exodus. I wonder what is going on. I don't think it's anything in America. I'm not seeing anything crazy happen in Europe, but that's going to be interesting to see. It seems like for it to go 8x, something major happened. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. All right. Who owns the most Bitcoin? A closer look at the biggest whales. I think this would be a great video. Let us know in the chat if you think you would like to see some of this secret, like who's the world's largest whales, largest secret whales. And a shout out to Stanford Mine Basement in Kansas. That's us. Love when DZ Mag is on. Don't forget to watch NFT Alpha. Best NFT content, baby. Hey, thank you, Stanford Mine. Yeah, we love I still don't know how to say it. So our people in Kansas. We love our people in Kansas. And if you love Kansas as well, and you love Wizard of Oz, hit that like buttons. Smash your heels together and smash your finger on that mouse and just make sure you're hitting the like button there. All right. Since launching around 13 years ago, it's been distributed far and wide to millions. But let's see who are these top known individual holders. Of course, we have Satoshi Nakamoto, 1.1 million Bitcoin. The fudsters like to say, oh, he's alive and he's going to sell soon. I think he's passed. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't think these will ever move. I put it at less than, honestly, 1% odds. What odds would you give it?
Yeah, I would say less than 1%. I mean, I don't think they ever move at this point. That's what I would say. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
it
see
it is plausible somebody could get to him, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. All right, next we have the Winklevoss twins coming in at 70,000. Take that, Zuckerberg. Those who don't know Zuckerberg, the Winklevi, they had that big dispute on who really invented Facebook. Then we have venture capitalist Tim Draper, and he was known for his early investments in Skype and Tesla, and he started buying in 2012, followed by a purchase of 30,000 for 18 million. I remember that auction of Bitcoin. Whoo, man, off the Silk Road.
And I will say these are all the public doxed people.
Yes.
You know, there's definitely some other whales out there where we don't know who they are, don't know who the wallet is controlled by, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you ever see Xi Jinping's wallet? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I don't want to piss off the wrong people there.
Yeah.
All right, Michael Saylor, 17,000. A lot of people say, no, I thought they had more. No, that's a corporate entity. But Michael Saylor, the Chad himself, he has 17,000.
Jeez.
And then here's some other large holders. And, on here, you're going to see, a lot of holding companies, a lot of mining corporations. You're going to see MicroStrategy. So here we go into the top companies. Yeah, leading the way, MicroStrategy, 130K, Galaxy Digital Holdings, Voyager Digital, Tesla, still holding 10,000. Is that right? They bought about 4,200. And then, so, okay, I say they're saying they still have 10K. Good for them. If you look into private companies, the Mt. Gox that will be distributed, Block 1, 140, Tezos Foundation, 17,000. And then countries and governments.
Wait, go back up to block 1. That's the EOS thing, or was
Yeah,
the
company behind EOS. The company was sued in 2020. That was over ICO. So there's a whole history to this coin. Blood. Next time he's on, maybe we'll ask him some questions about it. And then we have then there's just random wallets, and there are some giant wallets out there, including this one right there. Can you see that balance?
No.
Quarter milli.
Jeez.
Quarter milli bitty. That is a serious amount there. So yeah, there's some whales out there, but just to reiterate, I don't think Satoshi's wallet is moving anytime soon. That would tank the price. I think we would see, whoo man, if a coin moved out of that wallet, what do we see? Obviously, the worst day in recent history, 80%, 50% drawdown. I mean, I don't know. I think trading pairs would maybe keep Bitcoin afloat a little bit, but that
Yeah,
would
I
get-
mean, it'd be real interesting. We'd have to see, like, depending on what the narrative was around it. If there was one, I would assume there'd be a lot of fun. If like something just moved and nobody knew how or why,
move to Binance.
Yeah. If they moved to an exchange, then we'd see panic pretty quick. I would.
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Move to like all 1.1 million moving to Binance would be a little bit different than a test moving a 0.1. But yeah, either whale. You guys in your comments. I like how Mod's like, no, that's good enough. Let's bring it back here. All right. Shark Tank Star says over $1 trillion in sovereign wealth funds could go to Bitcoin. All right. So this list did have governments. I don't want to say it, but we had an insider here, and he's saying Russia has a ton of Bitcoin, and who is one of the countries leading? Ukraine. And so we're seeing some of these, maybe, again, I'm not trying to FUD my own country here, but maybe some of these countries getting tired of trading petro dollars here. They maybe are the ones that are going to be looking into Bitcoin a little more seriously. Let's see. The trillion in sovereign, again, is just going to be governments here. Mr. Wonderful saying sovereign wealth funds are mostly not invested in crypto, but they could go for a 0.5 to 1% allocation to Bitcoin once there's more regulatory clarity. I think that sounds about right. A 0.5% to 1%. You guys have no idea what that would do. Here's the upside. 50 basis points and the sovereign wealth and pension funds is $1 trillion of buying. So you have to be voting and cheering on regulation. You got $1 trillion going to be injected into Bitcoin if that happens. That's when you see it at 60 to 100K valuations. Again, sovereign funds, they don't care. Many large institutions want a position in crypto, and they want the granddaddy crypto. They want Bitcoin. They can't buy it yet. Then he's going to, kind of pushing his service there where he does it. Talk to the guy personally. I think we're close enough at this point. There is going to be a episode of me and Justin talking about Pluto Alliance and our Mutant Ape asset
Nice.
on Kevin O'Leary's show, Money Court. We're getting really, really close. I'm excited to see that. We'll definitely let you know when it happens. Maybe we'll do a little watch party or something.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be fun.
yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, T Salty, and appreciate the 14 months from our viewer earlier. 14 months we've been on Twitch. They got 14 months consecutive.
Yeah.
It
Sup?
doesn't seem like over a year ago we
It
were doing
doesn't.
Twitch.
Time flies. It really is crazy. I was realizing I was looking, we're getting very close, obviously, to a year from the November high. Like the all-time high in November, we're almost at a year at this point. So yeah, time flies. It's crazy.
And did you see Ben's tweet?
I did not.
Yeah, so Ben had a really, really good tweet. If we let's see, I think it's probably signed in
Oh.
on his profile here.
Yeah, I bet I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it goes over the dates. God, he tweets so much. Here we go, right here. History lesson on Bitcoin. And this is just kind of what I want to focus on. New all-time high. That was the new one. And then we had the all-time high December. What happened 1 year after the all-time high? A bottom. What did TJ just say? We are almost a year from
Yeah.
all-time high. I'm not saying it's happening, but history is showing it could definitely happen there. All right, and Kevin O'Leary, he just kind of reiterates the regulatory clarity he's talking about is going to be stablecoin. When Stablecoin Transparency Act passes, that's when he's expecting these volatile moves. And me and TJ have talked about this. They know stablecoin.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the first.
Well,
thing to
that's what's
regulate.
interesting. In that article, he actually points out apparently that there's a bill that's supposed to pass here very soon, right after the midterm elections. And he says in that article, like, hey, I think this is going to pass. When it passes, it's going to give, at least some boost that this is moving a clear regulatory direction. And so he started to say after midterm elections, he expects the price of Bitcoin to go up as well. So that'll be interesting.
Just Jim, Braves out. I mean, people want to know about the Braves. Ben was crestfallen. He
Yeah.
stopped watching at the 7th inning.
It was brutal.
He kept talking about it for hours. He was not happy. You know what? He said it's because he didn't show up to those first 2 games when he was in Dubai. He felt if he had shown up, could have carried the team on his back. How do you feel about the Braves?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, it's disappointing. I mean, so many of the teams that got the break or the bye, Dodgers obviously didn't follow through either, got knocked out. So, it's tough. The teams with the momentum obviously carried it through, and we just, the Phillies were,
Momentum.
yeah, the Phillies were
Momentum's
playing
key.
good, and we just couldn't seem to catch that
I
momentum.
don't
So,
follow much round ball, but I guess Braves had a better record this season versus when they won the World Series. Huh?
yes, yeah, we
Mm.
had the bye this year, so we got the break, and
Should have
didn't
been technically a better team.
correct. Yeah.
Oh man,
so,
it's tough.
yeah.
It's tough. Sorry to hear that, Braves, but go Astros. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I used to be an Astros fan. So then they
Astros,
kept
the only
steal-
ones that with the bye actually won their division and kept the divisional round
You
and
know,
moved on.
sometimes you just keep banging that drum enough
Yeah.
or trash can lid, and you'll get there. All right, gold prices rise as the U.S. dollar yields retreat here. Gold on the way up. Here, Robert Kiyosaki, he's super happy right now. They gained on Monday / today, helped by a slight pullback in the U.S. dollar and Treasury yields, even as fears lingered about a more hefty Federal Reserve rate hikes. But this is, I think, is more of a story of that DXY just taking a dump there, so gold's going to pump. And also affected the yield markets here. The 10-year bond yields have retreated a bit after scaling their highest since 2008 last week. Lower bond yields reduce the opportunity cost of holding non-interest bearing gold. Yeah, when yields are great on bonds, it's just going to be better than gold. When the yields aren't good, you start looking at gold. You start looking at Bitcoin here. Gold prices have fallen 20% since scaling above the key 2,000 per ounce level in March as rapid Fed rates hike weighed on bullion's appeal. Kim.com is saying, hey, start buying gold, start buying silver. He was pushing it hard, I think, Friday. And I mean, if you listen to him, you got a little pump there. But he's saying this is going to have a new bull run. Crypto Face, super bullish on gold. Kim.com, super bullish on gold. Got a lot of people turning bullish on gold. How you feel about precious metals?
To be honest, they haven't really done much over the course of my life. I mean, I think they're good to have in certain situations. But I lean towards Bitcoin, to be honest, than over precious metals.
People, I keep seeing Link comments. I haven't bought Link past couple weeks because I've been buying other cryptos, and I will. Okay, next purchase will be an Oracle. Okay, maybe it's Chainlink. I don't want to say I'm buying it, but I'll buy an Oracle. Okay, I'll buy an Oracle. All right. Speaking of Oracle, we got the Oracle of fancy sweaters here, Chamath Palihapitiya, and he's saying smart money is buying a psychological turning point arrives. I would say you don't want to fade this guy's comments here because he called the top in November, and I mean they got out pretty good on Solana there. Just saying. All right, in a new edition of All In, he says smart investors with large amount of capital are re-entering the markets, and this cycle is in the process of bottoming out. The All In panel points to an article in the Wall Street Journal that says a number of large venture capital firms, including Sequoia is one of the main ones up there with BlackRock, and Andreessen Horowitz are now investing in public tech companies. He does caution that another move to the downside is possible, but he's saying the relative strength of like Apple, Google, I think he also threw in Meta as a sign that the market shift is quietly underway. I think what it means is that these companies are going to draw a hard line in the sand and say, we are not over earning. Do not abandon the stock. That again will help put in the bottom in the stock market. Essentially saying the bottoms of Google, the bottoms of Apple, once big money saying, you know what, these are strong, just slow growth stocks, essentially money printing machines. Okay, now it's valuable again. Now I'm injecting capital again. These are the billionaires. These are these hedge funds. Now that they start buying Google, Apple again, once those find the bottom, that's when it happens to the rest of the market. It's kind of similar to what Bitcoin and Ethereum, those find a bottom, those start rising. That's when the rising ship will, or the rising tide will raise all the ships there. I listen to that pod. It's a great podcast. I highly recommend it. It's up there with NFT Alpha podcasts as far as like entertainment and alpha and knowledgeability there. All right, high net worth investors prefer direct crypto investments over cryptocurrency ETFs. Duh, not your coins, not your keys, not your coins here. High net worth investors continue to be interested in investing directly, according to the latest statistics of the Global Wealth Managers survey from Global Data. Here they consciously prefer taking maximum risk on crypto. I like how they try to frame it. It's like it's the least risky way.
Right.
What do you mean the maximum risk? Yeah. Oh my God. Whoa. I got to write down this seed phrase, or have a brain wallet, or a little piece of paper. Mine's tattooed on my chest. No, that's much safer than like putting it on a centralized exchange.
Yeah.
I like how they try to frame that though. It's the maximum risk on crypto. There are roughly 21,000 different cryptocurrencies. Thus, investors have a wide variety of assets to choose from. I would argue they really just have dozens to
Yeah.
seriously consider here.
Right.
I wouldn't, like coin ranked 19,783. That's the gem.
Right.
That's the one
That's the one that the high net worth individual is wanting to put 7 figures into.
Yeah, that's with the zero liquidity pool
Right.
and oh my god, yeah, that's where one market buy would turn it into like a $2 trillion market cap. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that where you get the liquidity so low you can pump a coin where it looks like it's worth $10 trillion. That's just because there's no liquidity. Shout out to Tom Crown. We got Tom in the chat today. All right. Even while there are still money managers who are skeptical about Bitcoin and its future, consumer demand has pushed the hands of major firms. You notice that it's crucial for businesses that want to keep as much as their clients' capital as possible to provide both a direct path into investing in cryptocurrencies as an option. Yeah, the people demand it. So the people are going to demand it. They're going to have to follow. And that's how good change happens. You'll make people adopt crypto because you know what? If you don't offer it for me, JP Morgan, I'm just going to go, buy it myself. And now, your loss, Coinbase, some wealthy investor comes in, market buys $10 million on Bitcoin, Bitcoin on Coinbase. Even if they use Coinbase Pro, Coinbase making a nice little lick there. They're not just saying, yeah, we bought it for 19K and here's 19K, no tax, don't worry. It's not how they operate. They're going to wet their beak. And so they're going to be forced to open up these options to their traders because people are going to go elsewhere. That's the power of the internet. It's the power of open protocols. It's the power of decentralization. That is the power of crypto. All right, let's speaking of power's with the young people too. 75% of young US investors want to diversify portfolios with crypto. These aren't young dumb crypto, TJ. All right. These are just young US investors here.
That's right.
2/3 of the polled Americans investors aged between 21 and 42. Hey, if you're 41, you're young, baby. I'm young. Believe it's impossible to achieve above average returns relying only on TradFi. Instead, they see crypto as appropriate tools for the job. By the looks of it, most people from the older generations might not advise their children to interact with crypto since they prefer to stay away from the asset class. And the nephew told him to buy Ethereum Thanksgiving, last year, last year at Christmas, last year at Thanksgiving. So this is the Thanksgiving, though, to recommend it to. Hey, pass the gravy and pass me your phone. I'm going to go download a little app for you here. I'm going to download a little wallet for you. Here you go. You're welcome.
This is the best Christmas to give a little Ethereum or a little crypto as a present to get people.
It really, really is. I might do that. That's a good idea. Hey, yeah, send me your wallet, whatever. I'll send you Solana. I'll send you Cardano. I'll send you Ethereum. I can't send you Bitcoin. I ain't gonna send you Litecoin. We're kidding, Tom. I only said that because you're watching. All right, millennials and their love for crypto. This summer, the investing firm Alto evaluated that 40% of millennials are hodlers, the exact amount of people admitting owning stocks, while less than that revealed that they have exposure to mutual funds. This is almost a hidden lead here. 40% are hodlers of crypto, but the amount of people owning stocks is less than that. Does that seem possible?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think a lot of young people are going to be getting exposure to crypto before they ever, get it.
It's weird. It's almost we can thank Doge.
100%. Doge,
Robinhood. We can thank Doge and Vlad.
Robinhood, yeah, GMC, GameStop, all that stuff. AMC and GameStop, all of that.
Yeah,
definitely got exposed a lot of people that hadn't been financially minded before. Got them thinking about like what is a short squeeze and what is
it's Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy. It's that person on that pizza review that blew up his pizza review that made everything possible. That was that first little domino that got kicked there. All right, who I'm talking about, the guy that like stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
We don't recommend doing that.
Definitely.
If you see someone doing a pizza review, just be nice.
Yeah.
Like I watched a little Roadhouse last night. Be
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Give some advice, but be nice. All right. Winklevoss twins, Roadhouse, stepped down from Gemini Europe board of directors. Some of the top hodlers. I was laughing at it this morning too. I was looking at the stories like, okay, they went for it.
Yeah.
They went for it.
That's something.
We went to the Winklevoss party, but we didn't get to see him.
No, they were hiding out. We didn't make it inside.
Yeah, we didn't even go inside. I just hung out on the grass like a peon. like a peasant. All right, Gemini Europe has made several changes to its board of directors over the past week, and the Business Registry of the UK, where the company is incorporated. Ooh, when I saw this headline, I didn't realize they're incorporated in Europe there. The spokesman added that the Winklevi, who have a combined net worth of over $6.5 billion, that's a Bitcoin at 20K, continue to serve as president and CEO of Gemini. Which one is which? The registration enabled the exchange to provide its products and services in Ireland, the company having established its EU headquarters in Dublin in 21. I wonder how long it'll take them to reach 100 billion. I think it will happen. It'll probably be more with the equity of Gemini, more so than like the amount of Bitcoin that they hodl. But it's all going to be related. As Bitcoin goes up, their personal bags goes up, as well as the potential of Gemini as far as making fees. You know, they'll see the fees that an exchange gets in the bull market. I can't imagine what the percentage increase it is from the bear market. You look at Coca-Cola during an economic downturn, what people buy 7% less soda, maybe. But the fees for these marketplaces got to be 40x. Does that sound about right? 40x.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
I mean, that sounds about right. Yeah. So the fluctuations in valuation and the fluctuations in revenue are much drastically higher in crypto, and that's why you see those insane valuations during bull markets and healthy valuations during bear markets. All right. Speaking of market, Mango Market Exploiter says action was legal. Community will hand over the exploiter a record bounty of 47 million. This is the arbitrager who made some money here. Estimated that said he's the brain behind the $114 million exploit. And he's saying, hey, what I did was legal. I did nothing illegal here. He continued that his remedy is similar how auto deleveraging works on exchanges. Exchanges use auto deleveraging mechanisms to manage risks when their insurance fund is insufficient to cover a user's position here. Community was divided about the news that he could make away with about 40% of the fund as a bounty reward, and this is a record high in the industry. Usually the trend is exploiters to get about 10% of the exploited funds. He basically, 2 exchanges, pumped a coin up on one, and then was able to cash out on the other one. That's kind of a little gross simplification there, but should that be illegal? TJ, opinion.
That's the age-old debate. Code is law, right? If you can do it, he should be allowed to do it. And then anytime they do rollbacks, that's another form of centralization, a lot of people would say.
So you like ETH Classic more than ETH? I
think it's a tough question. I think, when things are in their infancy, obviously one exploit like this can kill it. But if you're going for a free market, that's what a free market should be able to have things killed, So I lean probably more towards free market and code is law, mindset than, rollbacks and centralization. But I can see why certain chains do operate that way, and when they're trying to get something off the ground. It's just a different use case. If you can pause the blockchain, if you can roll back a blockchain, if you can, reset transactions, it's not necessarily the hardest form of money, which is what Bitcoin is trying to be. But separating those two things, I think, is very important.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see as we move forward where the industry lands, because the more centralized you are on some levels, the more you can get things done quickly, just kind of generally speaking there. So, yeah, I mean, the ultimate decentralized coin, I mean, many were going to say it's obviously Bitcoin, and some of these other more centralized coins, they're just doing a lot of good stuff. They're making good partnerships. They're making good tech. They're making, great user experiences. So it's going to be interesting to see how much we value user experience versus decentralization. My prediction is people are just going to want whatever fastest and easiest. If, there's 2 YouTubes and one's decentralized, but this one takes a fraction of a second to load that video longer, you're not going to use it. And so that's kind of my 2 cents. As much as I want decentralization to just run everything, user experience is going to be key here. All right, Hoskinson, let's talk about Ye here. Hoskinson says banks are marketing crypto with their actions after Kanye West and the JP Morgan fallout. I gave my thoughts on the JP Morgan Kanye West thing. I don't want to reiterate that. It was on the Thursday episode, but we all know it's very selective what they did with Ye, and I think it's quite unfair. And it is a huge commercial for crypto. I agree with Charles Hoskinson here. Say that the banks have helped to market crypto better than the industry players, according to an October 17th tweet. People keep asking, why isn't the cryptocurrency space doing a better job at marketing? The answer is that every bank in America, they do a pretty good job of doing it for us here. And this is, of course, Satoshi Nakamoto hat right there, rocking the hat. Of course, the synonymous creator of Bitcoin. And this came after his fallout with the big bank. I can't remember what he said. It was over $100 million he had with them. They revealed that they had cut ties earlier this month and had given him until the 21st of next month to move his assets to another financial institution. Everything left will be sent as a check to the business address that he has provided. In a widely circulated video on Twitter, he said he did not break any law, adding that JP Morgan's decision was surprising. And that is that interview right there has clip after clip after clip. I will say that. Portuguese banks closed accounts of several crypto firms, including Crypto Loja and Mine the Coin, without giving any reasoning, just kind of playing into the narrative of financial censoring that is happening here. And crypto is coming to solve that. It is solving that. And people are scared. Banks are scared. People in power are scared. Regulators are scared. And they're definitely scared of what Kanye is going to say, much like our favorite Nashville pop star here. All right. Cardano bug reportedly allows nodes to illegally manipulate transaction orders. Yes, we cover bad news on Cardano as well. Stake pool operators, SPOs, and ADA, according to the co-founder of ADA Handle, met the team, great team, and the operator of Blade Pool, a Sunday swap scooper, may potentially circumvent transaction ordering in the blockchain's meme pool and thus prioritize certain transactions. Saying, yes, this is a lot of tech speak, so I'm not going to, bother reading it. And you're saying, yeah, it's technically possible, and I've tested it. I could deny incoming transactions from all other peers and only accept them from specific dexes, for example, that could pay me a fee. If I'm minting enough blocks, I could provide this service. Another reason for SSPOs, basically further decentralizing Cardano's node system, I guess is probably the easiest way to explain that, is built on transaction processing architecture in which transactions may be processed based on the fee the sender is prepared to pay. On Cardano, user creates a transaction on their Cardano software, which is then disseminated to all other nodes and forms part of the blockchain. This is reportedly a vulnerability, making it a potential attack vector that causes price manipulation. It's possible for SPOs to block transactions. It points out there's no technical definition of whether or not the problem of minimal extractable value, which plagues Ethereum and account-based blockchains, is achievable with Cardano. The dev has admitted that it is indeed possible for SPOs to block certain transactions and prioritize others, which may portend problems for projects, particularly DEXs, that are currently operational or planning to deploy on the network. There's going to be aligned incentives with this, so I wouldn't worry too much. The scary thing you could think of or kind of say here is Sunday Swap has a whole lot of Cardano, and they run some nodes, and they're going to block all min swap transactions and try to make min swap. These are two decentralized exchanges here. That would leak, that news would go out, and then the community would turn on anyone doing that. And so I think their incentives are going to be aligned to not be a negative actor in the space. That's my bullish case here. And I just can't see the blockchain detectives not figuring this out, not bringing it to light, and then just not, crucifying whoever did that in the space. And then, they're going to be ran out of the space. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I tend to agree that as the problems come up with stuff like this, they generally come up with a solution pretty quickly and get it implemented. So I would imagine if this does turn into something, a solution will be presented fairly quickly.
Yeah. All right. Y'all ready to smash that like XRP army? Because it is time for our XRP story of the day here. Ripple partner TapJets defends XRP utility in the new brief to court here. The court case still ongoing. Another partner has filed an amicus brief in support of the company in the lawsuit with the SEC. The private airline TapJets decided to join the case and explain to the regulator why XRP is not a security here. The amicus brief follows a similar one from a Philippine partner, iRemit. According to documents from both companies, XRP is a big part of their business, helping to streamline payments and greatly simplify transactions. Last week, a judge in the process allowed the partners to present their notes on the topic, which are going to have a big impact on the final outcome. So basically, the judge said, you're an ally of Ripple. We're going to hear what you have to say. SEC said, no, you can't allow that. And the judge said, yes, we can, and yes, we will. And the remittance payment, they're the first. And now we have an airline coming to help join the case here. So this is just more ammunition in XRP's side. Is it going to predicate into a win? We're not saying that, but it's giving them ammunition to win the war here. All right, one more Ripple story here. CEO Brad Garlinghouse outraged over the lawsuit and SEC litigation. He's been, kind of staying quiet, generally speaking here. He said the SEC has shown no concerns for the companies or individuals that its lawsuit against XRP would harm. According to him, the Gensler-led commission's pursuit of a policy objective is not about a faithful allegiance to the law. Instead, it's about power. We've seen that again and again with the videos he's making, going after these celebrities. He made this statement in response to a tweet from a user who noted that the CEO was increasingly using profanity in his discussions about the SEC's lawsuit. In response, he said his outrage has been growing as the litigation proceeds. Ben Armstrong also alleged that the director Hinman accepted bribes to declare ETH a commodity. Got to say, when ETHgate dropped, I was about as the same place as Charles Hoskinson was. He makes many valid points in thread. However, Hinman certainly accepted bribes. It's clear my three biggest bags, XRP, ADA, and ETH, and I refuse to take sides. They all win. Meanwhile, the string of recent wins have seen the price rise over the last 30 days. It has risen 46%. However, we have cooled down a little bit here. You can see maybe a little bit lower high here. So, maybe we're forming like a little bit of a bull flag. Maybe it's going to turn around. You know how you can find out? 5:45. Go to Frankie Candle's stream. He's got the alpha. He's going to tell you whether it's going up, whether it's going down, and how to make money given those scenarios. Ask him about XRP. Maybe give him a little super chat. Maybe say, hey, Frankie, what's up with the Ripple? Is it doing this? What's the VWAP? What's the money flow? Where's the spider lines? You got to help me out here. So go to his channel. He's always putting out great stuff. Do we have any Q&A?
I just threw it in there. I don't know if we have any quick hits. I haven't seen any.
We have one that's kind of huge. It's a bearish narrative. It is a Eth Whale, and they dump over $4 billion of ETH in 5 weeks, pushing the price
Jeez.
25 lower. Now, the real question is he done? Because this is already done. It's not like he's about to dump. The dump has already happened, and it's been under the increased pressure of key stakeholders' behavior. That is so much. Now, the whales are those defined as holding between 100 and a million, and they've dumped 3.3 over the past 5 weeks. We're talking about a lot of money right there. In other words, 4.3 billion collectively dumped by the whale and shark addresses in the past 5 weeks. And this is, of course, having a major effect with the price heading down. But as it happens, the ratio also dropping. So the whales coming in, Bitcoin dominance grows, ETH dominance shrinking. Do we think long-term this is going to reverse? Yes, I do. But this is the bear market. Just be careful with your capital. Hold on to it dearly. Be careful with these moves. We're going to try to help you navigate this space and make the right moves to help create generational wealth. That's what this channel is all about, and that's all we got time for today. BitSquad, easy out. Be easy. Brought to you by water.